In today's video, Jefree Star defends Morgan Adams against shady influencers, and Shane Dawson finally reveals the much anticipated conspiracy palette. Those stories coming up now. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day today and happy Halloween. If you guys are return subscribers, I really do appreciate your continued support. If you're new here and you enjoy these types of videos, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Everyone give this video a big thumbs up, click on that notification bell and select it to all. That way you'll be notified when I upload my next video. Before we get started, and as always, I do need to remind you guys that I am a drama commentary channel. I have opinions and I speak them freely. Opinions are not facts, they never have been facts, and they never will be facts. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's dive in. On Monday and Tuesday, Shane Dawson uploaded part 5 and 6 of his series with Jefree Star. Before we talk about the conspiracy collection, I'd like to go over the drama that was in part 5, the failure of Jefree Star and Shane Dawson. In part 5, we learned from Shane that Morgan Adams, Ryland's sister, had just gotten back from a brand influencer trip to Hawaii, which should have been a wonderful experience, unfortunately wasn't. So much so that Morgan decided that she never wanted to do it again. She came back feeling defeated. She felt that her physical appearance wasn't up to the standards and expectations of the beauty community. Morgan said that all the beauty gurus on the trip made fun of her. She was essentially the ugly duckling of the trip. They would try to tell her how to do her videos and how to run her Instagram. She said that she felt the need to get lip injections because everyone else was for free from Joanna the nurse. Fortunately though, Morgan had decided against it. Morgan told Shane that she never in her life felt the need to get her teeth straightened, get fillers, a nose job, lip injections, or Botox until she started hanging around with these beauty gurus. Shane became very concerned about Morgan because she was starting to have a breakdown because of all of it. She wasn't getting the brand deals or the money like everyone else, and she felt like it was all because she didn't look the part based on how she was treated every time she was around these influencers. Morgan also let Shane know that apparently she signed a contract with another brand to go on another brand trip and she didn't want to go. The brand, that wasn't named, tried to force her into going anyway and then told her if she didn't go she still had to upload 5 pictures. When Shane told Jefree this, he was immediately disgusted and he told Shane to tell him who the brand was because he was going to take care of it. Jefree said that no brand can force anybody to go anywhere. Jefree told Shane that the reason he stopped going on brand trips and brand events was because everyone was always trying to one-up each other. Everyone was always trying to be better than everyone else and have more than everyone else. Jefree said that he felt sad that Morgan ever felt the way she did and that he could relate because he did too. Shane had Morgan come over to Jeffree's house to discuss their concerns that Morgan was hanging out with the wrong crowd. Jefree told Morgan that she shouldn't listen to any of them. He told her that those influencers that were giving her a hard time were doing so because they couldn't fathom how someone like her, who is as natural in beauty as she is, could have the success that she has. Morgan is a very successful YouTuber and they just couldn't comprehend how. After part 5, Jefree also took to Twitter and said, "Just for the record, @Morgan Adams is perfect and I never want anyone to ever make her feel low again. You're beautiful just the way you are. Keeping it 100. When I heard Morgan tell her story, it made me really sad as well as disgusted. Tarte is big on stressing the importance of self-love, and it's just really sad that the beauty influencers were treating Morgan like garbage on their brand trip right under their noses. Of course, Tarte, or any other brand for that matter, can't control what influencers say or do when on those trips. Maybe it's just time for these little trips and beauty influencer get-togethers to end. To me, it just seems to be a toxic breeding ground for self-loathing, jealousy, backstabbing, and social climbing. I can understand why Jefree and Morgan don't want to be a part of any of it. Are all influencers bad? Of course not. But it has to be damn near impossible to know who you can trust in such a fake community. Sadly, I fear that the beauty community isn't so beautiful. Morgan didn't drop the names of any of the influencers that treated her so horribly, but thanks to Not Another Drama channel, I was able to get this Instagram post of the group of people that attended Tarte's getaway. As you can see, the timeline fits, and Morgan was in this picture, so we know that she was there, so this trip is most likely the one that she was referring to. I'd be willing to bet that Raw Beauty Christie wasn't one of the ones to be so horrible to Morgan. I don't even think that Manny MUA would have been either. The rest of them, I'm not too sure on. For those of you that are guilty for trying to bring Morgan down because she's not what you think a beauty influencer should be, you are the lowest of the low, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Now that I've covered the tea, let's go ahead and get into the fun stuff. In part 5, Shane received the first palette designs. When Anna pulled out the Spiral Conspiracy palette, I was dying. I loved it. I loved how it looked. I mean, look at it. It's beautiful. But Shane and Jeffree weren't feeling any of them, and they rejected all of the designs for the Conspiracy palette. The Mini Controversy palette, on the other hand, seemed to be good to go. So they were back to square one. At the end of part 5, Andrew and Shane were playing around in Photoshop and came up with what would be the approved design for the Conspiracy palette, and I'm so glad that they were the ones to come up with it, because it makes it that much more personal. We know it's all Shane and not just some generic design that he picked out. It's truly him. Part 5 ended leaving us hanging, which isn't shocking, but fortunately we only had to wait one day for the final reveal. In part 6, it starts off with a meeting 10 days before the launch. This may be boring for some of you, but I found it fascinating. I was thrilled to learn that Jeffree decided to shut down Killer Merch for a week so they could have all hands on deck for the day of launch. I have been buying from Jeffree Star Cosmetics since he only had one eyeshadow palette, and I can tell you from personal experience that when you buy products from him directly on launch day, shipping is painfully slow at times, and those launches weren't at the magnitude that this one will be. The fact that they have so many people on hand and that they've already started wrapping palettes makes me think that the shipping will be about the same as usual in terms of how fast they'll get out. Usually for me it was about 2 weeks before I'd get my stuff in hand. I personally buy from Beautylish because as long as they actually have the products on hand, sometimes they don't and it ends up being a pre-order, which they don't tell you about ahead of time, but that's a whole other story. Anyways, when I buy from them, it usually ships that day or the next, and it's free 2-day shipping when you spend $35 or more. I'll be purchasing from Beautylish, and so help me if the Conspiracy palette is actually a pre-order, I may lose my mind. I don't think it will be. Must think positive. Jeffree's team also talked about their Shopify website and whether or not it can handle the traffic tomorrow. Allegedly, it can. Usually when Jeffree has a giant launch, his website has a tendency to crash. I'm really hoping it doesn't. The team is already fearing a fast sellout, and they are already planning for reordering more, which is great because waiting months for a restock is tough. I do expect everything to sell out super fast. It's the day before launch, and I already have Jeffree launch day shopping anxiety. One of my absolute favorite parts was seeing the set designs for the campaign. They are so well thought out and intricate. Marcello, hopefully I'm saying his name right, nailed it. The giant conspiracy pyramid with the eye, Jeffree being abducted by aliens, Shane in his tinfoil hat, the pigs, Shane with the beaker and Jeffree with the conspiracy tape over his mouth. I live. It is all very Shane and one of the most stunning campaigns for makeup I've seen. But, of course, the absolute best part of Part 6 is finally seeing the Conspiracy palette and the Mini Controversy palette in its final approved packaging. Anna came over to Jeffree's house and the tension was high. If Shane didn't approve the new design, it was going to end up pushing back the launch, which no one wanted. They handed him the Mini Controversy palette with the shades included, and Shane was shook, much to the relief of Anna, I'm sure. I love the color story of the mini palette. I am big into blues and purples, so this palette calls to me. Next, Anna presented the Conspiracy palette that even Jefree Star hadn't seen yet. As I said, I love the first spiral design and I didn't know how they could make it even more stunning. When Anna handed him the final design, I died right along with them. The shape, the font, the logo in the middle. Fortunately, Jeffree and Shane were very pleased and the palette was finally approved and could go into mass production. Shane got to tour the lab with Jeffree as they were producing both palettes. It was such a touching moment. Shane was overwhelmed and overcome with emotions watching his dream, his vision, finally come to life after nearly a year of planning, and so ends Part 6. Part 5 and 6 didn't include much drama, and honestly, I didn't expect there to be. Putting drama into these parts would have taken away from the palette reveal, ruining the moment. These two parts are my favorites in the series thus far. Seeing the stunning color story of both palettes, the pig lipstick bundle in the box with all the lipsticks inside, the pink pig side bag with the gold chain strap, the tracksuit, the makeup bags, the mirrors. It is so much better than just some cold tea. But now that everything has been revealed and the collection is launching tomorrow, it will be interesting to see what the final 3 parts will be about. I'm guessing that the next part will cover the day of launch and the packing and shipping process. So, what did you guys think of Part 5 and Part 6? Do you plan on buying anything from the collection? Let me know in the comments down below. Well, that's going to do it for today's video. I'd like to thank you again for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and wish you happy shopping tomorrow if you will be purchasing any items. Remember, if you are new here and you enjoy these types of videos, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Everyone give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you very shortly on the next one. Bye!